Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. And today we have with us Monte Wyatt, who is the CEO and co-founder of AddingZEROS and one of the top business coaches in ActionCOACH. Monte, welcome to the program.
Mike, thank you very much. Look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, so I understand you just released your book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, and have got some great stats so far with Wall Street Journal and USA Today. So bring us up to speed on your new book, what it's about, and let's just dive in deep to what impact and transformation you guys are now able to bring to organizations.
You bet. It's actually been about a 8 to 10 year journey.
Yeah, so you're the overnight success that took 8 to 10 years.
Exactly right. Yeah, I suppose it has been about 8 or 9 years ago that I started working with a lot of mid-market companies, and I would even say 3 million and above was where I've been focusing. And through my work with those clients, I not only taught them different things, but I recognized some themes. And the themes were where there was success, they had clear discipline in the organization. It wasn't just about a person or a team. It was about the disciplines that they had as a whole business. And so about, I'm going to say 2.5 years ago, my co-author and I, my business partner and I started with this concept, and we actually dug into it, created some working it out, really getting some clarity on the concepts. And, the concept is around adding zeros, but the book is called Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, which is going deep into those disciplines that successful businesses have. And it has been fun. We launched 1st of April, and we got it into bookstores. We got it into Amazon. We've done a lot of marketing, a lot of communication, a lot of different activities. And, yeah, it's been fun. We hit Wall Street Journal 3 weeks in a row, USA Today 2 or 3 weeks in a row. So it's just been a lot of fun, but getting a lot of comments and feedback on how impactful and easy the read is, and also impactful on how they can make change in their business.
I mean, it's just amazing when that happens. And like you said, if you had done this book 8 years ago, it would have hit like a thud maybe. But now, given your experience and success stories, and now you've seen these things develop, the thing that jumps out at me, and this is where I want to kind of focus our talk on, and we want to go just kind of surface level, high level, because obviously we could talk for about 4.5 days on all of these disciplines. But the 5 disciplines are strategy, business development, people, execution, and mission.
Absolutely.
Well, none of those sound earth-shattering to me. But where I'm confident is you're bringing a unique perspective to each one of those. So what do you say to someone that might hear this or talk with one of your consultants and say, oh, I've heard that before, people, process, and profit, or strategy, business development. We do that. And we're disciplined in that. Where do you say, but hold on, we need to go a little bit deeper, because the unique perspective we bring to strategy is this?
You bet. There's a couple things I want to bring out, and it does start with what are the disciplines and how we do things consistently all the time. And I want to start with the discipline of strategy. And there's a lot of depth in this, but there's 2 points I'll bring out here. One is a clear strategy defines how we will win long term. Yeah. Most companies get confused, and they think their tactics are actually what their strategy is. So they say, we've got a strategy for next month. No, those are tactics for next month. A strategy is long term on how we're going to win. And the second piece I add to that is we've got to be clear on the opportunity that we're filling in the market as a company, not about products. Most strategies are focused on products. Strategy has to be, for an organization, about the organization, on what opportunity in the market are we as an organization going to choose to fill. And it's not about us. It's about how are we filling the need or the want in the market. So the discipline of strategy, we've got a little different spin than the average bear does. When you think about strategy, it's not just coming up with what the next year's plan is. A strategy is much bigger than that.
I've heard it said similar to what you said, but I want to add one piece and get your thoughts on it. Strategy, tactics, and execution. So to your point, people confuse and blur the lines of tactics and strategy, but the strategy is the overarching. The tactics is let's get it done. But neither one of those is all you need, because you have to execute. And I feel that so many times a company goes, oh yeah, we just did our new updated business vision, marketing plan, business plan, there it goes. But then it sits there and collects dust on their computer or never gets implemented fully. So where do you advise someone within the realm of the strategy, the discipline of strategy, to know it is the overall mission, here are some tactics, but now let's get these things implemented?
And that's where, as I look at the 5 disciplines, it is a progression. You start with that, and oftentimes we start with the discipline of strategy to get clear on the big picture. How are we going to win? Where are we headed? How are we going to get there in the large picture view? But then we do have to talk about how are we going to execute. And my belief is that every person in every organization needs to have clarity of what our goals are, not just for the year, but for the next 90 days, and what our 90-day action plan is. So when you talk about execution, it's about what are we going to do? And that's the short-term activity. So the discipline of execution is all about what's our process? How are we managing our progress? How do we all have a clear 90-day plan that I'm going to hold myself to implementing and following through? And that's what we communicate and share and work together as a team to accomplish in the short term to reach that long term. Because the long-term strategy should guide our decisions. And that's the big piece of it, is we've got to tie all these things together.
Now, you mentioned a progression. Is the progression that you speak of, teach on, and in the book, strategy, business development, people, execution, and then mission? Not necessarily. Because I was going to say, why would mission be down at the end? I would think that would need to be one of the overarching, principles.
So you're exactly right, and I say I normally start with strategy because we have to know how we're going to win. Yeah. But the discipline of mission is a big piece of where every organization's foundation has to be. And I want to make sure I share this. I'm going to tell you, first of all, what the discipline of mission is not. It's not about a mission statement. Mm-hmm. The discipline of mission is about who we are. And there are 3 components in the discipline of mission that every business has to get right for ongoing success and long-term success. The first one is, what are our core values? And most organizations have, I'm going to call them unwritten values, unwritten culture. And what a piece of mission is in that discipline is about who we are. Our values should define who we're going to be hiring, who we're going to be firing by those behaviors, how we are going to interact with others inside and outside the organization, and it does define our culture. We have to define our culture if we want to guide it. And so core values are a big part of the discipline of mission. And instead of a mission statement, I believe that organizations should have a clear purpose statement. And to me, that there's a difference. Mission is kind of the big lofty phrase for someday we're going to be this. A purpose statement should drive us every single day. I should wake up every morning and be absolutely clear why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's because this is my purpose, or this is the organization's purpose that guides me. When we have a tough day, a frustrating day, because we all have them at work, this purpose statement should re-guide us back to, why am I working so hard? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? So that purpose statement is pretty powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like a lot of people think, oh, yeah, vision, mission, I got that. I got this template off the internet, so I'm just going to go vision. Okay, my vision is this. Our mission is this. Check the box. But when you couple that thought with the discipline of mission, do you find that maybe clients you work with as a business coach, they feel like initially, yeah, we've got it, here it is, we just filled out our mission statement or even a purpose statement. But then when you work with them to go deeper and bring that outside external perspective, it almost unshackles and lifts the scales off their eyes, and they're like, now that's something from your, they were maybe blind, they couldn't see the forest for the trees because it's their organization, but someone outside is able to help them deepen and uncover the things they really need to get into that purpose and that mission.
Absolutely. I've got a client that I've been working with probably into our third year together, and when we started working, they had created their core values probably about 15 years ago. But the interesting thing is I'm sitting in this room with executives, the CEO and his vice presidents, and none of them knew what their core values were. They were on the wall, and there was even one person on the executive team that had not read that plaque that was on the wall. Never. He'd been with the company for years. And I said, these are just statements that somebody created, but none of them were behavioral statements. To me, a core value has to define how we're going to interact, how we're going to work with others, how we should be behaving every single day. So if we've got core values that aren't guiding and teaching us and encouraging us to focus differently and act differently, then we don't have very good core values. And it's the same with the purpose. The purpose has to be meaningful today. It has to drive me today. Yeah, that's a mission statement. 10 years, 20 years, we're going to be here. No, it's got to be what's driving me today. And so you're exactly right. People may have those things, but they should guide us every single day.
Yeah, I think that is so common in business where people just go, it's up on the wall, let's go, work, build, grow, and I think that you need to take that time, whatever, frequency, once a quarter, whatever, annually, where everyone gets together and goes, okay, let's gather around the wall, let's read our mission statement and let's think about in the last quarter, what was it that we did or have planned to do that aligns with this element of the mission statement, because we want to make sure this is front and center, and maybe you gather around the wall and do that exercise, and you know what, we really didn't consciously do this thing or enact this initiative for the purpose of the mission, but it's really baked into our organization because now that you mention it, we're doing this and it really aligns with it. So I think it could be an aha moment either way.
Absolutely. So many organizations, they're very good at the technical aspect of their business, but the people side of their business, and that's where this core values and culture and environment come into play. I mean, you've heard this too. Engagement is at an all-time low in organizations. So some of these stats say from Gallup or whomever else, and there's a reason why people aren't engaged. It's because, my belief is it starts at the executive team. If the executive team isn't fully engaged, why would the employee base be engaged? And that's a part of being clear on what is our purpose and how are we fulfilling it, and are we living by values? And if we're not fully engaged, we have to really look at the organization as a whole. It's not about is the employee base engaged. It's how are we engaging them as leaders and managers of a business.
Yeah, you're really good. Hey, let's talk about the discipline of people, because I feel like a lot of organizations might go job opening, job description, interview, hire, let's go, and they don't take the time to be disciplined about strategically bringing in people that match up with their purpose and their mission. So what is kind of the surface level aha moments that we need to realize with the discipline of people?
The discipline of people is so important that we are people of a business. We made discipline itself. And the first piece is leadership. I think a big point in the world today, we've confused management and leadership. The world says they're the same thing, but they're not. The leadership is about personal growth. Leadership is about how am I bringing vision and passion and focus and influence to what I do every day. Management is about creating competence and productivity. And we've got to develop leadership skills in our team, and we have to encourage them to be leaders, because leadership is not about a position, it's about behavior. So that's communication. We've got to teach people how to be great leaders in their communication, in their interactions, how they ask questions, how they teach others. So leadership is about self-development. The second point is, I'm going to call it talent development. Now, there's a big difference between leadership and talent development. It is an organization's responsibility to develop their employee base to do the best they can in their jobs. And so how are we onboarding new employees? How do we have continuous activity of giving them the skills and tools and resources to fully accomplish what they should in their responsibility? So leadership, talent development, and the third piece is about recruitment. The discipline of people. Recruitment is a challenging thing, especially today in a job market where the unemployment is so low. We've got to be attractive to people. And you have to attract, just like you would in marketing for a company, we have to attract people based on our culture, our core values, our purpose statement, our direction for the future. How will we win? Those are the things that are going to attract people who will want to come work for you. And how are you going to train them to do their job best or onboard them into this company? And most organizations, recruitment is, that's just human resources, so we're going to get a third-party consultant to help us recruit someone. No, it has to be an organizational focus and a discipline to get the right people in the business.
Perfect. And so let's wrap up with an overview of your last discipline, which is the discipline of business development.
To have a great business, and I want to define a great business for a second here. A great business has to be sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and have an emotional connection. The discipline of strategy creates sustainability. The discipline of people creates stability. The discipline of execution creates consistency. The discipline of mission creates an emotional connection. And the discipline of business development creates predictability. When I say predictability, that means we've got to have consistent marketing. We've got to have consistent sales activity. We've got to have outstanding customer service. In many organizations, whether they're large or small, the consistency of marketing, it's a roller coaster. Hey, we got great for a couple months. We spent some money. We got some marketing out there. Well, now we got to slow down the marketing because we got too many leads. Well, no, we need consistent marketing. You should never stop your marketing, and it has to talk to the right audience, which leads to sales. I was with a client that we did some sales training a few weeks back, and we had 20 salespeople in the room, and all 20 did things differently. They asked questions differently. They built trust and rapport differently. They even talked about the company and their products and services differently. A part of business development and predictability is making sure that we have a clear sales process so we make it our way of building relationship with our prospects and customers, our way of showing them that we care about them and that they're going to solve their problems. If I have 20 salespeople or even 20 customer service people and we treat the customers differently every single time and by every single person, we're not creating a good company discipline. It's only about the person. And that gets back to the whole point of discipline. It's got to be about the organization, not about a single person. Oh, we've got the best person that does this. Well, what happens if that person's no longer here? What happens if that person gets sick or moves to a competitor? Well, now we have that gap. We've got to make it about how we do things as an organization.
I love it. And I just love the structure of the disciplines of these 5 and the 12-week programs that you guys have. So what is the best way that someone that is listening to this may find out more information and pick up a copy of your book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat?
You bet. Well, I tell you, I would go to Amazon.com right now to get your books. They've got a great price on it. They're beating my price right now on the book, so I think that's kind of amazing. But you can get the book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, at Amazon. But we've got a couple different ways that people can get assistance in this. We have executive development programs, whether it's a training program for the executive team or the general employee base, or we have an ongoing executive facilitation process where we help people with their quarterly plans, their annual plans. And so our website is AddZEROSNow.com, AddZEROSNow.com, and that has a great description of our different offerings and a little bit more about the 5 disciplines. And you can even find a facilitator in your local area, or you can reach out to me and I'll get you connected to the right person.
Hey, Monte, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on. It was great learning about your new venture and your book and all the success you've had. Thank you so much.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Mike, and appreciate all the questions and the insight that you had as well.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.